Right then, guys and girls, I'm back for a video after a bit of sort of hiatus, really. This has been a video that I've wanted to do for some time, but I think because of the effort I've got to put into doing it, I've put it off and put it off and put it off, but I thought, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this video. So this is all about my collection of Xbox 360 shooters, and if you've watched a number of my videos over the past, you will have seen that I've done a lot of reviews of Xbox shooters, Xbox 360 shooters. So I just thought I'd go through myself and do a bit of a I don't know what really, explanation, playthrough, gameplay, show the games. It's basically all going to be about 360 shooters and my collection. I've got 24 in total, and they are all Japanese releases for my Japanese console. I've got several 360 consoles. I've got 2 Japanese ones and I've got a couple of UK ones. So but for the purpose of this video, this is all going to be playing on my Japanese 360. It is one of the original launch consoles, and there's a bit of a story behind that, and I went into that in a previous video. But effectively, I got stitched up when I bought that Japanese 360, and I was assured it was a fairly new version of the 360 console, and it transpired when I had it delivered, it wasn't. It was a Japanese launch one, and it wasn't particularly cheap, but at the time I didn't have a Jap one and I wanted to get into the shooter scene, so I took it on the chin and kept the console. Subsequently to that, I did actually go out and buy a brand new 360. That's actually upstairs in the loft at the moment. That's never been used, although it was used just to switch it on to make sure it worked, but I've never actually used it in anger in any way, shape or form. So that's my sort of backup console. As we are all aware, the 360 console, certainly the launch ones, were very susceptible to failing, having the red ring of death, and this one is still going strong now. I haven't played it for months and months and months and months, but I did play it quite a lot at the time when I was going through collecting the games for it, the SHMUPS, and it hasn't failed yet. I'm touching wood. Okay, this isn't proper wood, but it is pretend wood. I'm touching it, and it hasn't failed yet, but even if it does fail, I've got a backup console anyway. Actually switching this console on for the first time in ages, they're so noisy, the original 360s. I mean, I can hear the fan now, I can hear the CD drive now, coupled with the fan, and you may not pick it up on the mic, but it's quite loud. So I've got my 360, I've got it set up at the moment. I did think about how I was actually going to do this in respect to the gameplay and so forth, just to show you a small amount of each of the games, and I've settled for it in this office here, and I have my 360 rigged up to a PC CRT with an SLG in line, so I've got scan lines on there. I was going to put it on my arcade cab, on my vertical arcade cab, but it never really comes out great on that because of the angle and so forth, and it's quite tight in that room. So I'm going to go for CRT, but for the sort of faux CRT. It's not on my arcade cabinet. And yeah, I'm not sure where this is going to go actually. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be for. I imagine I'm going to have to do a fair bit of editing. I don't want to spend a hell of a lot of time on gameplay on each game. That's I'm going to be here. This video is going to be like, 2 or 3 hours or something if I do that. So I'm going to go through each game. I will say a little bit about each game, and I've sort of segregated the games up. So I'm going to go through initially all the horizontal games that I've got, all the horizontal shooters. I will then move on to the verticals. I will stick with the cave originally. I will stick with the cave shooters initially, and then move on to the non-cave shooters. going through this process of just looking at the games I've got and actually having a bit of a butcher's to see what the values of these games are nowadays on eBay, and I've come up to a total at the moment of just over £1,300 for the games. That's the approximate value of the collection that I've got. I'm not considering selling them or anything like that. I don't do that for games, but yeah, quite a lot of cash really. I think the games would have cost me a lot of money. I think on average they were around £45 to £50 each, and 24 games, so they're sort of averaging out now about £50 odd each, aren't they? Something like that. In fact, let's just have a look, because I'm crap at maths and I can't do stuff in my head. So if we just say 1,300 divided by 24 equals £54.16. So they've sort of averaged out in respect of not actually being worth much more now than what they were when I bought them brand new, but as they were on import, they were always a dearer price anyway. But there are some notable ones in there that have shot up in price quite a lot. But I think what I'll do is I'll go through, I'll state what the game is worth nowadays on eBay, and to give you guys a bit of idea about what they are going for price wise. And yes, they're all originals. I think you've seen the collection, you've seen all the cases that I've lined up as the thumbnail for this video. This isn't a JTAG Xbox 360, they're not copied games, they're all original games. So yeah, we will set off fairly shortly and we'll see where this goes. Right, first off guys, I do need to apologise. I did say in the introduction to this video that I was going to do live captures of these games on my CRT. I've actually decided against that due to the fact that it's quite bright in my room today. And a lot of light is being reflected off of the CRT, and that will come over on the video and it will look a bit gash. So I've decided to go for a direct capture of these games and doing a bit of voiceover as I go through these games. Like I said, I've got 24 of them. I'm going to stick initially with all of the horizontal shooters that I've got for the 360, and then I'll move on to the vertical ones. So first one being Deathsmiles, cave game. Not one that did particularly well, I don't think, in respect of both the arcade and the sales of the home conversions. And the reason I say that is the pricing of the horizontal shooters, by and large, isn't as good as the vertical shooters. I think the vertical shooters is where the real shoot 'em up scene is on the Xbox 360 in reality. But the current price of Deathsmiles on eBay is around about £20, so it's a very cheap game, and that's even on import in respect to the Japanese version. Like I've said before, all of these games are Japanese versions, and whilst I do know that there are some that are region free, I haven't actually gone through and done that research, so I won't be covering that in this video in respect of what is region free and what isn't. But yeah, so for £20 it is a fairly accessible shooter really for the 360. Certainly not one of the best. I would personally say the Deathsmiles series is probably the worst series actually from Cave in respect to shooters. I don't know, some of you guys may have some different opinions, but it's not something that I relish in respect to the Xbox 360 scene. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump straight into the arcade versions of each of these games, and I'm going to try and play through to the first boss, mid-stage bosses, to try and keep the gameplay fairly short, but to obviously show you guys what the games are about if you haven't seen them before. So let's give this one a go. Yeah, so you've got 4 characters. I'll choose Casper. And the actual shooting mechanic to this game is very simple, in that you either shoot left or you shoot right, or you have a bomb. So actually the fact that you can shoot both in both directions isn't usual for a horizontal shooter, but that's what Deathsmiles is all about. You've got various levels and various stages within the level, so we'll just choose stage A, level 1. I do actually like the sort of pixel art on cave games, I've got to be honest. This game certainly looks retro in its presentation, certainly on the HD screen anyway. It's very, very blocky. Looks so much better than a CRT, with some form of scanline adjustments on there, or overlay I should say, filter. Even on HD screen looks fine. I'm actually playing all these shooters with a standard 360 joypad. Now I should have connected up my joystick at least, because it's not my favourite way of playing these games. I've got to be honest, you can't be, I find myself not being that precise, but it is what it is. So this is the first mid-level stage boss. I'm just going to try and get through this the quickest way I can, that being to precious on the scoring. Oh god, I wasn't even looking there, idiot. One of them. I'll show you good night, sweet prince. So that's a very brief overview or look at the first stage on Deathsmiles. So next up is, lo and behold, Deathsmiles 2. Yeah, we've looked at Deathsmiles, so let's look at Deathsmiles 2. Again, we're going to go to the arcade mode, basic arcade mode, and we'll choose. Doesn't matter, does it really? We'll just go straight for it. Now, this game didn't really have any real love for the retro look. As you can see, there is massive amounts of smoothing that's being turned on this game. There's no pixelation, which is a bit of a crapper when you come to play it on a CRT, in all honesty. Especially if you're trying to look for the retro look. So I never really played this game, if I'm being honest. You know, because I was all about playing things on the CRT, even though that even though it's very similar to Deathsmiles 1. You know, same kind of game, a gaming mechanic, but I just didn't like the look of it. I just thought it looked crap. I mean, even on a HD screen. Now, admittedly, this is my Xbox is set to 720p output, purely because my capture card doesn't capture at 1080p, 60 frames. Yeah, I just didn't get on with this. Didn't like the graphic style of it. Yeah. Now the actual value of this game on eBay is it's not that great. This is about £25. This is at the moment. Oh. Yeah, which isn't a lot of money. Again, I just don't think it's sold very well. I never really got into it, to be honest. I didn't really like the game, or don't really like the game, I should say. But yeah, so we'll junk that one, I think. That's not a great game. So that's Deathsmiles 2. Stage clear. Wow. So next up, we have Akai, Katana, Shin. This is a limited edition, even though the game itself there is no difference, but there is a music CD with the special edition that I have. That cost me around £92 actually. Back in the day, as they say, which would have been I can't find a date here. Don't know when that was. I'll have to take this back out and look at the date on the disc. But anyway, that was about £92, and this currently goes on eBay. The limited edition currently goes on eBay for £70. It's lost a little bit. It has lost a little bit, but yeah, we're still here with the horizontal shooters. Let's get straight into the game. This game really does remind me of Pro Gear, a cave horizontal shooter, which is available on MAME. Very similar in the graphic style, and it. Oh God, I was about to say it's quite hard, as you can see. You get choked out. So I've got a. It's not helping me playing on the joypad actually. I think because I'm playing it on the screen as well. It's got auto bomb on there by the looks of it. I think there's a little bit of lag here. But there will be lag, won't there, because it's being processed via the video capture card. So there's a little bit of delay here, but yeah, the actual game itself does look really, really nice. But again, like the other horizontal shooters, I saw that one coming then. Yeah, like Death. I can't blame this totally on the lag, but it is quite laggy. Going for the capture card. Yeah, that's going to be a real quick gameplay, that is, isn't it? Yeah, that was absolutely rubbish. Well, I'm not sure it deserves anything else, to be honest. It's definitely better. It's definitely better than Deathsmiles, without a shadow of a doubt. But I am struggling playing it. I can't. I'm just wondering if it is the lag, because there is a bit of lag there. I can feel it. Like I said, it's because I'm actually watching the video capture as it's being recorded. So yeah, there's a bit of delay there, which isn't great. And I'm also crap at it. So yeah, that's Akai Katana Shin. So here we have Konami's entry into the 360 shooter fest. Again, horizontal, as you can see. And this one is Otomedius Gorgeous. Currently retails on eBay for around £25. So again, a very cheap sort of accessible shooter for the 360. As I'm sure you can see from the demo mode that's running, the track sequence that's running, it's much in the same sort of vein as Gradius, but more so Parodius really. In some respects, it's more like Gradius because you don't get the bells on this game. It's just the power-ups. But yeah, let's give this one a bash. Now I'm going to jump straight into the Gorgeous mode, so I'm not going to go for the basic mode, purely because all the screens set up correctly for the Gorgeous mode in HD, so it's full screen. I think this is right, it says. I might be wrong here, this might not be the Gorgeous mode. We'll soon find out when the game starts. Yeah, so it's the typical Gradius mechanic, scoring mechanic where you get power-ups, some speed-ups to begin with, and then you can go cycling through missiles and lasers and all that good funky stuff. Now, do I enjoy this as much as I enjoy Gradius? No, I don't. Don't know why. Not sure if it's the art direction of the game or not, but it's a pain in the backside to play this without joystick. I really should stop making these excuses and just pull my joystick out, shouldn't I? I mean, that would be the easiest thing. So it's quite a cutesy type shooter. Okay, so we'll start to crank the old power up to it. I really do need an option. I don't think I'm going to get that before the first. Up in there. Oh, brilliant. Lost everything there. I've got no chance of blowing this up now. Joke. Yeah, this isn't very good at all, is it? I'm doing really crap at this. Just for a change. So slow. Speed up, we need plenty of speed ups on this game. That's probably going to be too quick now. Try the old joystick thumbsticks like this. Right, let's carry on. God, this is highly embarrassing. That's going really quick, isn't it, that shit? Well, I've got some bird with big hoofers. I'm not going to do particularly well at it, am I? Let's be honest. Speed on, off of that. Ah, you get choked out by the splashes. Ah, what? Yeah. Yeah, you can tell I haven't played this game for a while. More luck than judgment. So yeah, that's a quick go at Otomedius Gorgeous. So we'll move on to the next one. Right, so the next shooter we've got, and the last horizontal shooter, thank God, is Otomedius Excellent. So this is the follow-on from the first one, which was Otomedius Gorgeous. And I don't like this one as much as I like the first one, to be honest. Let's just get into the game. My Xbox is making a right racket. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, Burke. Weirdly enough, I'm actually picking up slowdown on this. I just wonder if it's a capture. I mean, it looks pretty enough, but I just don't. I'm not feeling it. I think this was the reason why, actually, because you lose your you lose like the background in respect to everything going on, and it's quite sparse now. There's definite slowdown there. I'm just wondering if that is the capture. Could be. Well, I'm not going to last very long with this crappy firepower. Now this is, if I look, yeah, So this is your more traditional, like Gradius boss design, I think. I swear to God. What the f... Something ain't right, is it? I think it's me. I knew I should have played this on the cab. What? Oh, that worked. I'm just going to keep continuing this actually, just to say, ensure I can get through the 7-11 boss. Ah, I took so long on that, I didn't even beat it. That was a waste of time, wasn't it? So, yeah, that is a absolutely diabolical run through of Otomedius Excellent. So, I hope you've enjoyed that first section, the first part of this 3-part series, which was specifically around the horizontal shooters for the Xbox 360. Now we've got that out of the way, next week will be to look at the vertical shooters, the real exciting shooters for the Xbox 360, which are predominantly cave based. So tune in next week, and I hope you enjoy the video.